Well, here it is, the newer, slimmer PlayStation Vita with a download for Borderlands 2 packed right in. My biggest gripe with most of Nintendo's handhelds is that for some reason, they all seem to resemble the NES controller a bit too much. But the Vita in comparison is absolutely lovely. It's as much a delight to hold as it is to look at, and the controls feel natural as well, but alas, style is not everything. The bundle comes with an 8GB Vita memory card, but Borderlands 2 takes up well over half of that all by itself, but hey, no problem, right? I've got plenty of storage on my PS3, so I'll just download my free PlayStation Plus Vita games onto the PS3, and I can use that as sort of a content manager.
I can't let you do that, Starmark.
When you transfer the game from the PS3, it doesn't just copy it, it deletes it from the PS3's hard drive. This is just outright stupid, Sony. Even a 16GB Vita card is $40. The same size SD card would cost you less than half that. Fortunately, you can also use a PC as a content manager. But unfortunately, this was only the first strike. What's the most important thing for any gaming hardware? The games. And the Vita's game library has two problems. First is a lack of diversity. As Reddit user Voodoo said, the Vita is a JRPG machine. The vast majority of quality exclusive games right now are JRPGs, which is probably great if you like JRPGs, but I don't. Let me draw a parallel. The Wii U library right now is inundated with amazing platformers and not a whole lot else. But platformers are my favorite genre, and so I love the thing. You might notice that neither system is doing as well as it could be, and a lack of diverse gaming experiences is definitely partly to blame. The other problem with the Vita library is exactly the same thing the PSP suffered from. Let's draw one more parallel. No matter what combination of consoles and PCs you might have, I would argue that the 3DS is also worth owning. Why? Because its library is filled with experiences that you can't find anywhere else. Both of Sony's portables, on the other hand, have each tried to replicate the console gaming experience on a portable, which has the unfortunate effect of making vast swaths of the library feel like watered-down retreads of games that were better played on the big screen. And speaking of which, let's discuss Borderlands 2. It's impressive that they were able to squeeze a game like Borderlands 2 onto a system that was clearly never designed to run it, but the result is still a very mediocre port. Load times are long, frame rate is low, controls are rather awkward, and trying to squint at the text is giving me a headache. It's playable, but that's the best I can say about it. Sure, they made it work, but they did very little to optimize it for a portable experience. It just makes me wish I was playing the console or PC version. So, the game I bought the Vita for was a letdown, and the proprietary memory card is too small, too expensive, and too, proprietary. That's two strikes. That's disappointing, but you know what? Maybe, just maybe those free PS Plus games, the indie selection, the prospect of playing Metal Gear Solid 3 on the go, maybe that stuff would make everything okay. Until I was trying desperately to get into Borderlands 2, but all that tiny text was just giving me eye strain. Come to think of it, the screen looks a little dark. Oh, brightness is down. That's weird. I'll just fix that. I'll just fix that. They didn't. Those ruthless, heartless bastards. Certain games lock down the screen brightness, and there's no way to turn it off, no way around it. Even when it's plugged in, it refuses to go any higher than about 80%. You can see it happening when you go back to the menu, and seeing just an instant of how much better the game could look if it didn't arbitrarily lock you out of the brightness is just going to drive me crazy. I feel like Sony is metaphorically flipping me off every time I notice this, and I notice it constantly. And this isn't anything new to the Slim. This has been happening ever since the original model launched. And look, maybe I've been ruined by nearly a decade of staring at two flaming suns when I play portable systems, but screen brightness is the deal breaker for me. I know a lot of people keep stuff like that turned down lower, and that's fine for them. It's an idiosyncrasy of mine, I admit that. But as soon as I discovered this, I knew the Vita just wasn't worth owning for me. Look, maybe the Vita's game selection appeals to you more than me, and maybe you'll feel different. If you have a PlayStation 4, Remote Play might make the Vita worthwhile. Hell, if Sonic Generations had been ported to it, I would have had one on launch day. Screen brightness be damned. I know the Vita has its fans, and I'm sad to say that I can't count myself among them. The system is so well designed, but it's just not reaching its potential. Look, nobody invests this much in something expecting it to disappoint, and I kept waiting. I kept playing, I kept wanting it to all come together, for the whole PlayStation Vita experience to really be worth it. But it never happened.